For the first time in their young 10-year history, the University of Arkansas women gymnasts are ranked #1 in the NCAA. The Razorbacks are off to a fantastic start in 2012, and they're poised to join the elite of collegiate programs. Today, they visit the extremely talented Florida Gators, who spent much of last season ranked #1. Two of the best teams in the country, but they're on very different trajectories in pursuit of the same goal, the NCAA Team Championship. Today, the Arkansas Razorbacks visit the Florida Gators in SEC Gymnastics, coming up next. Welcome to the SEC on ESPN. We're inside the Stephen C. O'Connell Center on the campus of the University of Florida in Gainesville, Florida, for our coverage today as the Arkansas Razorbacks put their #1 ranking on the line against 8th-ranked University of Florida, 24th-ranked Maryland, and the University of Bridgeport. Today is a quadrangular meet or a 4-ring circus, but we're going to showcase the two highly ranked SEC teams. Welcome, everybody. My name is Bart Connor, and I'm proud, as always, to be joined by Kathy Johnson-Clark and Suzanne Yocklin. And we're in for a great meet again tonight. Two teams here who could certainly vie for the NCAA championship, but their paths to get there might be dramatically different. Let's first of all talk about Arkansas. They're ranked #1 in the country. What are they doing right this year?
That's right. That's absolutely right, Mark. They are ranked #1, but that's not by happenstance. This team has a plan. They came in this fall. They worked harder than ever, and the athletes have confidence in the coach. They have confidence in the program. They have confidence in the philosophy, and they're all on the same page. And that's a mission to not just be ranked #1, but to finish #1.
So what should we watch for them tonight?
Well, they are ranked #1 on the uneven bars, but to me, I think the important event is the floor exercise. That's a signature event for Arkansas because it really demonstrates how hard they've worked. They've upgraded almost every single routine, and we're going to see that opportunity tonight to see if they can really gain that respect and that credibility that they all are desiring.
Now, the path for the Florida Gators could be dramatically different, as we've already mentioned. Let's talk about the strategy for Rhonda Faehn's team this year. It's different than the last couple of years, isn't it?
Typically, Rhonda really likes to come out like Mark is this year, coming out strong. And in the past, they have had an incredibly successful season. They've been ranked #1 throughout the season. They have been undefeated. They have won the SEC championship. They've won regionals. They've done everything, except when it comes right down to it, they haven't won a national championship yet. And so she's trying to find that missing piece. And perhaps it is learning to pace and peak at the right time so that they can finish at their strongest, both mentally and physically.
Now, what about the dynamics of this particular matchup tonight with Florida and Arkansas?
I actually think that's the most interesting part here. About this time last year, Florida was ranked #1. They went to Arkansas for a dual meet, and Arkansas bumped them off. And so it's trying to change the course of their season, put a little clink in their armor. This year, Arkansas comes here ranked #1 for the first time ever in their history. They've never beat Florida at home, though, and there's no way Florida wants to allow that to happen. It's going to be extremely competitive.
It's going to be a wild night of gymnastics. There will be 4 events going on simultaneously. There'll be 4 athletes, 4 events, vault, bars, beam, and floor. 6 athletes from each team to compete on each event, with just the top 5 scores for each team counting towards their team total. Opening up the competition for Arkansas on the bars is Jordan Salzberg.
This is an exciting event for them to open up on, as you mentioned earlier, that they're ranked #1 on this event.
Very nice release to the low bar.
I did notice in the warm-ups they had several falls on release moves.
They did, but, you know, Coach Mark Cook says he's not worried about the warm-ups. And they haven't had a fall all season. So he hopes to upgrade that dismount, though.
Jordan Salzberg made a huge impact as a transfer from Southeast Missouri last year. Alaina Johnson, the sophomore out of Tyler, Texas, U.S. senior national team member, will be up for Florida on the vault. Scores to this point, Rachel Spicer, a 9.775, a career high for her. Nicole Ellis, a 9.725.
This will be the first meet of the season for Alaina Johnson to compete in the all-around. And last year she was freshman of the year.
Qualified to 3 event finals at the NCAAs. This being one of them. She's beautiful form on this year, chain purple.
I love it. She stuck a few in warm-ups as well.
That's just instant smile.
She did. She had great distance.
Rhonda Faehn says she's very sweet but very competitive.
A little bit bent over on that landing, but a strong balance between height and distance.
Over to the bars now for Arkansas. Katherine Grable will be up. She's just a sophomore. The first Arkansas freshman ever to win first-team All-American.
Beautiful handstand. Sorry, Barb. That was a gorgeous finish in that handstand after the pirouette. Little short on the handstand to the low bar.
She's an exceptional all-around athlete and has really made tremendous improvement from last year to this year. A little late on that turn.
Late on the turn, but sky high on the dismount.
Yes, that double front dismount was new this year.
Over to the vault now for Florida, Ashanée Dickerson. The score for Alaina Johnson was a season-high 9.85. Ashanée has thrilled us over the last couple of years with her power and explosive vaults.
And it's really obvious on this event. Very explosive.
Oh!
Definitely fought for a stuck landing. It didn't rise up as high as I would have liked to have seen.
I thought so too, Kathy. I felt like the twist was a little early off the table, and you really didn't see the set of the layout position before the turn. You can see here how she turns a little bit sooner than what you desired.
Nice opening, though, and definitely fought to try to stick the landing, almost.
Back over the bars for Arkansas, Jaime Pisani will be up next. She is the senior out of Ringwood, New Jersey, 9-time All-American. Arkansas has 3 gymnasts in this competition that are the bulk of the scores. They are all all-arounders. Pisani, Grable, and Salzberg.
Oh, perfect there. Nice straight arms on the bars, which is one of the things you want to look for all the time.
Boy, she did that release much better here in the competition than in warm-ups.
Little mistake, but she keeps moving, so there's no big deduction there.
Grable's score was a 9.85 before her.
Strong dismount. Missed a couple handstands that were a little short, but a hit routine.
Yeah, a few things started adding up for her at the end there, right after that turn that was off balance. She started having a few minor mistakes. You can see she had to go backwards there, lost some rhythm, missed a handstand right here, and so the deductions are adding up right here at the end. It's too bad for her. She had a terrific meet last week.
Back to vault now for Florida. Marissa King, the reigning NCAA champion on this event. And boy, the scores are just matching up. For every Florida 9.85, Arkansas comes back with one themselves.
And they need a big one here, and they could get it. This is such a difficult vault.
Oh,
my God. What a vault. Look at the distance.
I loved it. Look at the distance. And she had a forward entry onto the table. So difficult. Blind landing. Wow.
Well
I'd score that one
young
big.
lady who was voted as the most outstanding gymnast in 2011 for the Gators. Up now for Arkansas on the bars, Shelby Salmon, the sophomore from Noblesville, Indiana.
She is part of this bar team that's ranked #1 in the country. They've been so consistent on this event. They have 3 athletes averaging above a 9.85, and this is one of them.
Very strong combination there into the release move. Perfect distance away from the bar.
Double layout dismount. Nicely done above the bar.
Little form break right there. You can see her legs kind of go out apart, and I would love to see that a little bit higher.
Well done for Shelby Salmon. All right, Kytra Hunter will be up now for Florida on the vault. The score for Ashanée Dickerson was a 9.825. Kytra has been just a breath of fresh air to this already spectacularly talented team. The freshman out of Frederick, Maryland, SEC Freshman of the Week. She's won the all-around in her first 3 meets of her collegiate career.
She could very well be one of the top freshmen, if not the top freshman in the country.
And look at her power on this vault. 1.5 twist.
Oh, wow.
Oh, she stuck some in the warm-ups. Almost came up with a perfectly stuck landing, but just gorgeous vault.
One of the best 1.5s I think I've ever seen. Some athletes like to try to cheat that to get that 1.5 turn around. They try to sort of push off the table, but you can really see the rise. Just an awesome vault.
Just a little short on the rotation, but she's so strong.
And she kept her legs straight at the end, too. I really like seeing the different coaching strategies before the athlete performs. Sometimes the coach is talking with the athletes, sometimes the athletes are talking with the athletes, and in this case, you got both.
Coach Mark Cook said they really have a good chemistry this year, and they spend Wednesday mornings getting together doing team building exercises, including some psychological training. It's very exciting. Samantha Cortez, the former gymnast at Arkansas and now one of the assistant coaches, was a psychology major, and she's helping the young ladies focus a little bit more. That could be part of the reason for their success early this season.
Mark Cook said that Mariah's bar routine, dismount was one of his biggest challenges as a coach. He did a double tuck last year, and he tried to teach her the double layout with the technique he uses, and she couldn't learn it, and he had to learn a new way to teach her. So watch for this dismount.
She's ranked second in the country on this event.
Oh, wow. That is gorgeous. Height above the bar. Beautiful.
Second release. Yes, the second release with difficulty bonus. And a third release. You don't see that too often.
Perhaps that's why she's ranked second. A little stiff-legged on the landing.
It's still a new dismount. She's only competed it, I guess, today is the 4th time. So it's a big improvement over last year's dismount, though.
Good start for the Razorbacks on the bar.
Beautiful height. That is called amplitude. And I love her form. Good job on the handstands.
She scored as high as 9.925 on this event.
Here's that new dismount. Just a little unfamiliar with the last part of the rotation and the landing. That'll come. Ooh.
Terrific first rotation for the Arkansas Razorbacks. Florida on the bars and Arkansas on the beam when we come back. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Welcome back inside the O-Dome here in Gainesville, Florida. We've completed the first of 4 rotations in this exciting gymnastics competition tonight. Let's take a look at the scores for Florida in the first rotation on the vault. Kathy, your impressions?
Well, I thought they were a little tight on the scores, probably accurate, but we've seen higher scores for lesser vaults so far this season.
And for Arkansas on the bars, a very strong performance there. Shelby Sound at a 9.925. Suzanne?
You know, I feel like the execution wasn't as good as it has been the last couple meets for them, but their score is great. Look at that. They came in strong at the end with those last 2 routines, and that kept them in the ballpark.
And so here are the overall standings after the first of 4 rotations. The separation between Arkansas and Florida is only 125 thousandths of a point. Maryland and Bridgeport round out this quadrangular field. There is head coach Rhonda Faehn, the former Olympian, in her 10th season here at Florida, and boy, has she recruited some of the finest elite talent the country has to offer. Isn't that impressive?
They're extremely talented, very deep on every single event. It'll be interesting to see if the strategy this year works to really build toward the end of the season and try to peak right at the end, because they certainly have the talent and the routines. I mean, they're just superior to much of what we've seen.
Jordan Salzberg, the first Razorback gymnast to perform on the beam. Talking to Mark Cook, he said she's something of an unsung hero because a lot of people know about Grable and Pisani, but you can count on Salzberg to be solid, and she's one of those 9.8 to 9.85 performers almost every time.
And I just see what I love about this lineup is that it was set early in the fall. Everyone on the team knows exactly who's next, and they start to build a chemistry within this lineup, and that really makes the team click, and they've had just tremendous success by establishing this lineup early on.
It's especially important when you get into really high pressure situations where they're going to feel at the SEC championships and of course at the NCAA championship.
What a great start for her. Just consistent, solid. Well done. Dismounts a round-up double twist. You see this often. Make sure the athlete is all the way around on the twist.
That event, Arkansas is ranked number 9 in the country. On the other events, bars their first, floor their second, vault their 5th. Nicole Ellis for Florida now on the bars.
I really enjoyed watching them warm up for this event. A lot of great difficulty.
They are so fired up for this competition.
Right off the bat, my first impression in watching them warm up is their gymnastics is much cleaner than Arkansas, just on the little things.
I like their extension on the bar, out of their shoulders. Everything looks tall.
Well done. Great start from Florida. Excellent double layout and fighting for those landings.
Absolutely. That is a big score to start.
The scores were high already for Arkansas. We'll see what happens with this.
Here you go with this strategy again. Who talks to the athlete? Do you leave them alone? Looks like Coach Cook Rene is working on the breathing to settle them down, relax, lower their heart rate.
This is a great competition to really learn how to focus when there's so much going on in the arena. 4 events going on at a time. A lot of noise. She's really trying to get her to focus, stay in her bubble.
The Cooks have decided this year that perception is everything. They want to make sure that they want to come out strong because they want the rest of the country to know that Arkansas can play with the big girls, as they say. So they think this year coming out strong and getting big scores early helps them get credibility by the time the championship part of the season comes around.
That's right, Bart. This sport is still a little bit subjective in places. So having that #1 ranking, everyone in the country knows it, that certainly helps them.
Shelby Salmon now, the sophomore out of Noblesville, Indiana. Her career high here is a 9.825.
It feels like she's going a little slow to me. I'd like to see a little faster rhythm.
The judges really look for everything, not just the balance errors, but the flow of the routine, the balance of the routine, where the difficulty lies throughout the course of the routine.
We mentioned it's a 4-ring circus. There's 4 apparatus going on simultaneously, so all of this confusion is challenging for the athletes to keep their focus. While this routine is going on, Florida is over on bars. We'll be there in a minute.
So far, she hasn't given a lot away in terms of balance breaks, but there's not a lot going on in the balance beam routine itself. A little hop on the landing.
Here's her dismount, full twisting front in a tuck position. Big hop to the side. That is a huge deduction, probably 1/10.
Second up for Florida on the bars now is Ashanée Dickerson. The scores seem a little high over here. Nicole Ellis had a 9.9. It was a great routine, but still, first routine, 9.9.
Well, Bart, I think that judges who somewhat painted themselves in a corner, the scores were very high for Arkansas. A couple routines, I don't think I would have gone that high. That is a huge release move. Gorgeous.
Absolutely.
Ashanée has good amplitude in this routine. Big release moves. Little problem with the form. She's given away some little deductions with feet and legs.
So much better than last year now. Her arms are locked out on the unevens, and last year they were not.
Yes, I think a huge improvement from last year.
We'll see what the judges are going to do with that. A lot of difficulty in that routine.
Watch this big release move. A free hip to immediate release way above the bar.
When we come back, Florida continues on the bar. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. All right, Kytra Hunter, the 2-time U.S. national team member, getting set for her bar routine. Nicole Ellis is the leadoff performer with a career-high 9.9.
Yeah, and even bars for Florida is a really strong event, one that's the most gelled, I would say, at this point in the season. They've kept the same lineup so far throughout. Now with Caquatto back in the lineup, this is a very strong bar team.
Watch this release. It's huge. I love it. She really gets way up above the bar.
Score for her teammate Ashanée Dickerson, a career high 9.925.
She pulled in a little too tight.
You could see that coming. She had that shoulder angle on the bars when she released.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
You could see her pull in and have a shoulder angle, drop her head back, and it pulls her back into the bar.
And just over-rotated.
Back over to the beam for Arkansas now. Scarlett Williams, the sophomore out of Baton Rouge.
Scarlett competed balance beam in all 3 meets. As a matter of fact, the whole lineup has, because it's been the same the entire season.
The career high 9.875 for the business major.
That was a nice combination. She did 2 leaps into an acro skill, and that gives her additional bonus and shows difficulty and versatility in the athlete. Another difficult combination.
Score for Shelby Salmon was a 9.7 before her.
This routine has a lot more difficulty in it, combinations, and just the individual difficulty is higher. Combination into the dismount, 1.5 twists out of all that. A little sloppy on the form,
really,
but
yeah, a 1.5 twist out of a back handspring or a back layout, that's difficult to generate any momentum here. This is a new dismount for her, but you can see she just didn't have quite enough momentum to get that 1.5 around.
We'll go back to the bars for Florida. Marissa King will be next up. Kytra Hunter, by the way, had a low 9.35. Keep in mind, 6 athletes, just the top 5 scores count towards their team total. So you can afford 1 mistake, but not 2.
it puts
Scores are very high here.
Marissa was out of the bar lineup last season. She had a pectoral muscle problem, and now she's back in the lineup mainly because she agreed to change the dismount. She's got a new double layout. Very nice. Look at her clean form.
6-time All-American.
Here it is, the double layout.
Nice.
Much better on the landing. She just had trouble with the old dismount. This makes a huge difference.
Absolutely, and it's sort of like the balance that you need in a vault. You want to get rise and distance to really have a solid landing. What I love about Florida's routines is they're not just doing your traditional releases. They're doing a lot of variety in their releases and a lot more difficulty in their releases.
She said it's so nice to see the range that they show on this event. So many different things.
Jaime Pisani now on beam for Arkansas.
Jaime says that this is her most challenging event because Rene, the beam coach, makes them do so many numbers and has really challenging and difficult workouts every day. Looks like it's working.
Scores, by the way, on bars are very high. I'm not saying they're inflated. I'm saying they're high for everybody. The scores on beam a little tighter. Arkansas Scarlett Williams had a 9.8, her season high. But all the scores range between 9.7 and 9.8 over there so far.
The difference we're seeing now on balance beam, there are actual deductions that we're seeing. They're little balance things, but mainly little form deductions here there so far with Arkansas on beam.
As long as the judges are consistent between the teams in the competition, it really doesn't make a whole lot of difference if they're a little low or a little high. They just need to be consistent. It was. That's, again, difficult. She did not like punching on that round off on her dismount last year, so this was changed as well. These young ladies have worked really hard to change their routines and eliminate deductions.
That's smart gymnastics.
Double twist all the way around. Nicely done.
Alaina Johnson for Florida on the bars. We've seen some spectacular scores. A 9.9, 2 9.925s. So the stage is set.
Yes, it is.
And this young lady is probably even more spectacular than all of them.
I love watching her in competition. She's so clean, so beautiful. Very elegant gymnastics and dynamic, too. Look at the height on that release move.
Beautiful starter, then she finishes with the legs in the vertical position.
She has scored a 9.975 here before.
I don't see any deductions, Bart.
Now, this is beautiful.
Wow.
Bam!
Oh,
Look at there.
Career high.
That was as gorgeous a bar routine as I've seen.
Look at that release move, that Ray. Her legs come together and she's still above the bar.
I love that she even shows flexibility on the uneven bars. And elegance. It's just beautiful.
She's a beautiful athlete. See another angle here on the disc mount. You can see her rise above the bar on the first flip. Straight body all the way throughout.
When you look good in slow motion, you're good.
Final performer for Arkansas on the beam now will be Katherine Grable, ranked second in the country on this event. She'll need to be strong here.
There's a lot of pressure for her right now, and she has a really, really dynamic routine with a lot of difficulty.
She's ranked second in the country on this event.
There's a lot of pressure on her right now to keep Arkansas in this competition. They need a big score here.
And there is a lot more pressure, but this is the gymnast that has to handle that kind of pressure.
That is very difficult. You see a lot of those front toss skills, but to do a straddle jump out of it, you have to be totally square on the beam when you land.
Coach Cook said she's like a cat. She can find the ground with great air sense and great air awareness.
I like how effortless she makes everything look. She's really soft when she competes, soft on her landings.
You gotta be really strong and powerful to do this. Pike double back. Great dismount.
That was an awesome routine right when they needed it.
Here's that combination you love, Suzanne, and you're right. You have to be so square to take off immediately into the straddle jump.
Double pike, shoulders back a little bit, which causes the hop, but I love that they're going for it.
Well, this could be a highlight. The sophomore Mackenzie Caquatto in her 4th year on the U.S. senior national team and just a sophomore here at Florida.
And she can swing bars, just absolutely gorgeous work. So happy to see her back in the lineup.
Absolutely, she was the highest scoring gator last year on the uneven bar, so they need her back, and look at this difficulty in execution. Handstands impeccable.
She'll see limited action today because she sprained both ankles in the fall. She's coming back from those injuries.
That's a pretty one.
More exciting gymnastics from Gainesville. Don't go away. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Welcome back. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. We're here in Gainesville, Florida, at the halfway point of this exciting competition tonight at the O'Connell Center here in Gainesville. Let's take a look at the highlights after the first 2 rotations. On the vault, it was Marissa King with a 9.925.
And an outrageous vault, underscored in my opinion.
Absolutely, I would have scored that at 9.95. It was awesome.
And on the uneven bars, Jaime Pisani from Arkansas had a good routine. 9.825 was her score.
And what a team leader, both with her performance and the interaction with her teammates, keeping this Arkansas team up.
Very aggressive, especially on that dismount.
Florida was good on the bars. Ashanée Dickerson, big release moves.
Woo, could have walked underneath it, I think. She is a much improved Ashanée Dickerson from last year. Straight arms on the bars, and look at that dismount.
9.925 was her score. And then on the beam for Arkansas, Katherine Grable had a 9.925, which ties her career high.
And truly one of the highlights of the first half of the competition. This pike double back capped off a fantastic routine.
Take a look at the scores in the second rotation. The Florida Gators have their third highest score in program history, a season high this year. Kathy Johnson-Clark, impressive scores.
Oh, those are high scores. The last three performers, though, did some of the best bar work I have seen in collegiate gymnastics. Just exquisite form, high level of difficulty. Definitely the class of the meet so far.
All right, let's take a look at the scores. A season high as well for Arkansas on the beam. Suzanne.
Yes, Bart, they actually scored higher than their average to this point in the season. They had a lot of difficulty, great composition. They were lacking in some of their landings, but that'll come as the season progresses.
And that big dismount from Katherine Grable paid off a 9.925. So at the halfway point, the Florida Gators, they have to go to the beam, but they have a lead of just under a half a point over Arkansas. First up on the floor for the Arkansas Razorbacks will be Bailey Zumwalt, the sophomore out of St. Cloud, Minnesota, did her club gymnastics at Twin City Twisters. She scored as high as a 9.85 here. They're 0.45 behind Florida. Florida is on the beam. And you said at the top of the show here, Suzanne, that this is an important event for Arkansas.
I think it is. I mean, they are doing the difficulty that they're going to be doing at the end of the season right now. They're not at home, so, you know, every floor is just a little bit different. It'll be interesting to see how they handled, you know, performing their difficulty here. But they've really worked hard to upgrade, and I think you're going to see what they're made of right here. And to me, this is the rotation that can determine the meet. Bailey has been first up in every single meet for them. And this is where they really took the time to get their lineup set early. Very solid start for them.
Good landings, good strong tumbling. You can definitely tell they prepared early in the season to hit these landings on floor.
So front 1.5. Her chest was a little bit low when she landed. You should land straight body.
Up for Florida now on the beam will be Randy Stageberg. She's known to keep everything light in the gym. She's a free spirit, but she likes the leadoff role and the pressure on balance beam.
You gotta love it when you find a gymnast who likes the leadoff spot and the pressure of that. And she is a perfect gymnast to put in this position. Good routine to start off with.
She's definitely the go-to girl. It's like the basketball player that wants to take that throw at the end. That's Randy. She likes to be in this pressure situation.
And even though the pressure builds as the rotation continues through to the anchor, the leadoff person sets the standard, sets the pace and the feel for the team. Very important.
And what I'm noticing right off the bat is just the execution in the form of the basic skills, the front aerial with tight knees on landing, back handspring with the second knee coming over tight. So many athletes bend that knee and are sloppy.
It's one of the areas in collegiate coda points that kind of troubles me, that doesn't quite reward enough exceptional form, execution, amplitude, and even the highest level of difficulty. They're needs to be something that really, truly separates more.
And it's got to be more than just whether or not you stick a dismount.
Right,
There's
absolutely.
more to it than that, although that was a great dismount. I like that composition of that dismount, really taking full use of the strength of the athlete and making sure you protect those ankles. You could see her just keep her momentum going and fulfill the requirement.
Expect a good score for the young lady who's worked hard on her mental training this year. Next up for Arkansas on the floor is Amy Borsellino from North Stars Gymnastics. She did her club training there. She's a junior, the vault finalist last year's NCAA championships. Powerful athlete.
And the last 4 gymnasts to graduate from North Stars in New Jersey came to Arkansas, 3 of those 4.
Score for her teammate Bailey Zumwalt, a 9.825 in the first rotation.
It's always interesting to see where the judges start with that first routine, because even though they're not supposed to compare routine to routine, it definitely sets the base, it sets the foundation for what's to come.
Very impressed with the consistency of their landings. Really important that they're not giving up landing deductions.
No, they're really not. They're executing very, very well. Right here on Amy's middle pass, you can see no deduction on that landing at all. They're solid with what they do. Double pike at the end. They're pushing the difficulty. It's a big improvement over last year for them.
Back over to the beam now for Florida, Alaina Johnson will be up. Randy Stageberg led off with a 9.8, tied her season high. Rachel Spicer's 9.85 was a season and career high for her.
They're doing a great job, and I'm really anxious to see this routine. She's so lovely on balance beam, and they've reworked the routine, reorganized it. Hopefully it's more comfortable.
She tends to get a little tight, but with 2 solid routines in front of her, hopefully she can relax up there and show us what she's got. Like you said, Kathy, just so talented.
We mentioned there's 4 apparatus going on simultaneously while Johnson is on the beam. For Arkansas, Jordan Salzberg is up. Amy Borsellino had a 9.85 before that.
And Bart, the scores are so close on these 2 events. Both in the 9.8, 9.85 range on both events.
There's a new dismount going to come for Alaina Johnson. She does a side aerial into a full twist. Much better for her this year.
We saw a strong opening over there with a full twisting double back for the first pass.
And that full twisting double back, Kathy, was new this year as well. I love seeing these athletes come in, work hard, and try to upgrade and push themselves to get better.
With a pike double back, very good difficulty in this routine.
I like her choreography and her personality. It really shows through.
Florida on the beam and Arkansas on the floor when we come back. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Ashanée Dickerson will be up next for the Gators on the beam. Score for Alaina Johnson was a 9.925.
This Florida team is really cooking right now on the balance beam. The scores are building, and they are just solid. You can see they want this win.
And you could just see there on Ashanée's face, you can watch her release the pressure, release the tension that she was feeling leading up to it. Now it's just do it. Stay relaxed, but aggressive.
I like that combination. I don't know if you saw it, Kathy, with the one arm on the back handspring. Really nicely done. A little variation. She has really grown since she came to Florida. A lot of work has been done on balance beam. She looks so much better up here than she did as a freshman.
And she's a very hard worker. Rhonda says she's just a joy in the gym. Does everything she's asked to do. Tuck, double back.
Quickly to the floor now for Arkansas. Kelci Lewis. Jordan Salzberg had a 9.75. So the scores for Arkansas range between 9.75, 9.825, and 9.85.
Nice amplitude on those jumps. She really showed that full split.
What a season for the Razorbacks. This is their 10th season. Last week they had a huge competition in front of their largest crowd ever and set their season high and career high score, celebrating the 10th anniversary of the program.
Kelci was one of these athletes that grew up with the program, attended summer camp, and always wanted to be a Razorback. She actually graduated a year early to be able to start school.
So many high-level, difficult last tumbling passes. Impressive.
Very impressive, Bar. You really got to start looking at the execution of them because so many athletes now are ending with that double back in the pike position.
Kytra Hunter on the beam now for the Florida Gators.
And this is a huge test for Kytra. Unfortunately, she had a miss on the uneven bars. And as a freshman, you want to see how she responds to coming back from that, getting her focus back, staying aggressive.
Before her, Ashanée Dickerson had a 9.9 season high.
I believe, Kathy, that was her first fall of the season, too.
She has been on fire since the beginning. So you really want to see how she responds to making a mistake and how she comes back from that. So far, so good. Big dismount. Boy, is she powerful. Like a spring.
Nice height off that balance beam. Nice stretch on that takeoff.
I think she's got springs in her feet. Boing, look at that, way up there. Nice tight tuck, legs a little bit apart.
What a great addition to the Gator program.
Next up for Arkansas on the floor will be Katherine Grable. Talk about a powerful athlete. Finalist in the NCAAs last year on this event. Ranked third in the country currently on floor.
Very nice double Arabian. She really squared it at the top and didn't cut around the side like you see so many athletes do. Wow, that's a nice pass. Very playful and very bouncy. And just, you look at her and you just want to smile.
That's the kind of pass I like to see in the middle time around.
Absolutely. Difficulty, but a nice solid landing. Don't give away any tenths. When you do that half with the step out, you're always solid on the landing. That's smart coaching.
Her coach, Mark Cook, said she's not only so talented, she's so passionate about doing well and winning. She's really an important leader for this team. Her teammate, Kelci Lewis, had a 9-8 tie, her season high.
She has cleaner feet than I've seen so far on the floor exercise. Paying a lot more attention to going up on the toes.
I wonder how many turns she takes every day on this pass. She says she has to do the same number all the time. She's very superstitious about her numbers. That was a strong double pike.
Best floor routine so far.
Absolutely. Strong. That's the way you do that last pass.
The nice thing is, even though she was slightly unbalanced on the landing, she fought to hold on to it.
All right, Marissa King will be up now, the junior out of Cambridge, England. Florida has spectacular scores on this event so far.
I'm excited to see this routine. She has so much difficulty in the routine, and it's fast-paced.
Oh, that kick over front hands, whatever it is, a front aerial to 2 feet, I guess, but it is one of the most difficult skills. The only one in the country.
Comes right back with a back layout.
2 feet again, much more difficult. Much more difficult. Your center of gravity is a little bit different when you've got those feet together versus having that lunge position. It's a nice combination too. I think that's new this year as well.
She really completes everything, shows the full split in her leaps.
I like her hands. I know that sounds funny, but her fingers and her hands are just sharp.
Oh, and look at that. Hangs on to the landing.
Rhonda Faehn says she's the gymnast that never holds back. She's got a great spirit every day.
And you can't hold back doing skills like this. Ooh. No way.
And that might be a layout on that instant layout. I don't think she piked that in hardly at all.
Pushing on the pedal all the way to the end on floor. Aggressive, you show it off. You have good stand-ups, watch the corners. Let's finish it off.
Woo!
Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
Good landing.
Jaime Pisani, final performer now for Arkansas on the floor. In the warm-up, looked like she slightly tweaked her knees on a landing. See if she's okay.
Beautiful. Excellent difficulty. Great landing.
Her teammate Katherine Grable had a 9.875.
Here comes the pass she had trouble on in the warm-ups. So Rudy right into layout step out, no problem.
She's had an outstanding career at Arkansas. Just really breaking one record after another. And still improving as a senior. That's just amazing. Her last pass last year was a double back in the tuck position. Here's another example of that upgrade. She's going to do the dismount in the pike position with her legs straight.
More difficult, and it's prettier.
And Rene told her if she didn't upgrade her last pass, she didn't have a chance to win a floor title, which is her personal goal.
So that
Nice
put it
job.
over the top.
Beautiful tumbling.
She had really nice difficulty in this routine. Look at
Yes,
that.
half in, half out.
Really
I loved
beautiful.
it.
And the pike double, nicely done. Good height.
Beautiful routine.
That ends the third of 4 rotations. We'll come back with her score and update the standings as we get ready. Arkansas will move to the beam, and Florida will go to the floor. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Florida hosting #1 Arkansas. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Welcome back, everybody, to Gainesville, Florida. We're in the O-Dome, 6,198 in attendance tonight, and they're watching some spectacular gymnastics. That third rotation was special. Look at the scores for the Gators on the beam, Kathy.
Bart, they rocked the house on this event. Yes, the scores are high, but they hit these routines. They've got to be so pleased.
That is their season high total there. Here's the scores for the Razorbacks on the floor. Suzanne.
From top to bottom, the Razorbacks are doing their job, and this is an intense environment. They're staying focused, and they're getting it done.
So let's take a look at the team standings after 3 of 4 rotations. Florida has improved upon its lead now by .675. They have a lead over Arkansas. Florida goes to the floor, and Arkansas goes to the vault. Arkansas now in the vault. Amy Borsellino, the junior, who was a vault finalist last year at the NCAA championships.
She's doing a Yurchenko full. Oh, wow. Fantastic landing,
Good
but unfortunately
distance.
not super high. A good landing.
We open up with Florida on the floor. First performer, Amy Ferguson.
And Bart, this has been their weakest event so far score-wise in the season, mainly because this is the routine they've been pacing themselves on. Holding back on some of the biggest difficulty that they can throw, resting some of their athletes. But I'll tell you what, after their first 3 events, it'll be interesting to see how well they perform here on Florida.
Amy calls this her throwback routine. It's the same routine she did in her sophomore year, and she wanted to compete it so she could focus on her tumbling. Does not have the difficulty that most of the other Gators have, but for a starting routine, it's solid and executed well.
You know, Rhonda Faehn said last year, 2011, floor was their competitive advantage. This year, not right now, as you mentioned. They're just kind of pacing the athletes through the rest of the season.
Absolutely, Bart. They had so many injuries at the end of last season. They were the walking wounded when they went into postseason. So, you know, Rhonda and Adrian Burke, the floor coach, really wanted to slow it down and save their ankles and not work too much on sticking those landings.
Kelci Lewis now for Arkansas in the vault. The score for the first vaulter, Amy Borsellino, was a 9.825, tying her season high.
Good clean vault, not spectacular in terms of height and distance. And the tiny little hop, but very solid.
Andy Stageberg will be up next for Florida on the floor.
It'll be interesting to see what tumbling pass she opens with. The difficult one, of course, is the full twisting double back in the pike position. Not sure if she'll compete it tonight.
And she went for it.
Much better than in warm-ups. She is such a competitor.
Plus, feel the energy in the room.
They are on fire tonight. You can see the momentum is just all over the place with the Gators.
It's interesting, even though they're trying to pace for the end of the season, they do have a chance to knock off the #1 team in the country at home, and I know that gymnasts feel it.
And like Kathy said earlier, they want to redeem themselves against Arkansas as well for being a team that beat them last year. Randy is so athletic. Her dad and 2 of her brothers were wrestlers. I think they know they won it. I mean, there's 5 more floor teams to go, but I'd be shocked if they made mistakes at this point of the competition.
I think you're right, Suzanne. It's nice to see them actually perform and going for the big skill. It's important to get that under your belt and then finish strong with a pike double.
Vault scores for Arkansas to this point, 9.825 for Borsellino, 9.825 for Kelci Lewis, Jordan Salzberg at 9.75. So Scarlett Williams will be up now. The sophomore out of Baton Rouge, her season high and career high 9.8.
Yurchenko half with a front layout.
Very hard vault to land. Takes a lot of repetition in the gym and practice. And then being able to hand the adrenaline of competition to make this blind landing. So tempting to pull your head forward to see the landing. You really have to feel it.
Marissa King now. The Olympian from Great Britain. The junior here at Florida.
And what a fantastic competition she is having, just personally, but the team is doing well.
She was one of those athletes we talked about that had problems at the end of last season because of taking so many hard landings. She has not been performing her opening tumbling pass that she's doing tonight. The Arabian double front will be the first time this year.
Ooh, stepped out of bounds. That's too bad. A little reduction for the step and then a 1/10 of a point for out of bounds.
It's really no big deal, you know. I mean, if it's the first time she's done it, that's a mistake you can easily fix with a few repetitions. I just like that they're going for the difficulty.
Love to have the repertoire that she has of tricks she can throw on floor to just pick and choose.
Yes, I think Rhonda's hoping for the double layout for her for the opening pass by the end of the season. She says that's the opening pass that she does best. A lot of control on that landing. Exactly the way you're supposed to do it. No deduction.
I know she wanted to stick that first pass, but really, truly, this was a great job.
When we come back, the Gators continue on the floor. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Alaina Johnson now for Florida. The score for Marissa King, a 9.75.
Alaina's having a great competition as well. Really consistent.
That leg separation, which was obvious to all of us, cannot be ignored by the officials. Although the double Arabian was beautifully done, high, and she actually opened into the landing, you cannot ignore that leg separation.
Judges might see it, because they're at a different angle, they won't see it quite as dramatically as we see it right on the end, but you're right. Too much separation.
You mentioned the kind of competition she's having. She's had 2 9.925s and a 9.85 today.
In the first meet of the season in the all-around for her.
Great job.
Love that ending. Showing that flexibility is beautiful.
She has beautiful flexibility and form. You know what? I believe what Rhonda told us. I'm witnessing. I see a much better chemistry with this team. I see an attachment between all the athletes. Tell you what, they might be starting out slowly, but they just really came on strong for this competition.
I mean, it's still January, so it doesn't look like too slow of a start to me.
No, they turned it on.
They really did turn it on when they needed to.
And back to vault for Arkansas, Jaime Pisani. She's already had a big score this year, scored a 9.925 in Mexico.
Well, they have definitely been consistent with this vault. Layout, that's a better vault. That's higher, straight body, straight in the landing. She didn't quite come up with the perfectly stuck landing. But boy, that is much better in the air. Look at the rise off the table.
When you see them back to back like this, you can really compare them.
Ashanée Dickerson will be up now for Florida on the floor. Florida completely in charge of this competition. Final two athletes have to average just a little less than a 9.5 to seal the win here against the #1 team in the country.
I said last year at one point in the season that I thought Florida had the strongest floor lineup top to bottom than any team I had ever seen, and you know, they are right back up there again this year. They might not have been doing well so far up to today, but you can really see the athleticism, great composition, and just the desire to really put it all out there. Wow, love that ending, love that double pike, solid.
Now that's what you want by the end of the season, every landing like that double pike.
Maybe they'll go home and take a vacation for a few days.
Ashanée Dickerson, the Gators in charge, no question about it. The score for Alaina Johnson before her was a 9.875.
She has so much spring. Arabian double front almost stepped out of bounds, but she controlled it at the very end.
And this pass, open double tuck, wow.
Just a very athletic tumbler, and boy, what a landing on that final pass.
Back over to Arkansas for the final vaulter, Katherine Grable. Score for Jaime Pisani, a 9.8.
Wow.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That might be the vault of the meet. Wow.
You don't see it very often. A half twist on, front pike, half twist. Very complicated vault, very difficult vault. She did it well.
So well. Yurchenko half turn onto the table, pike off with a half, stuck landing, just beautifully executed, and so difficult.
A lot going on. Nice and square, too.
Beautiful.
Great night for the Razorbacks.
1, 2, 3.
And the final performance of the night will be Kytra Hunter, the freshman.
She needs to finish on a real high note. I definitely saw the wind just go out of her sails after that fall on the uneven bars. She recovered well on balance beam. You want to see the spark back.
Watch this first tumbling pass. Wow. Straight. Wow, you see so few athletes perform that double layout with that straight body position.
And I think it looked easy.
Score for Dickerson was a 9.95, ties her career high.
These two back-to-back on floor are really something else. Like, wow, look at that. An easy pass, but well done and really soft and beautiful. No deductions.
I don't think everybody realizes how hard that is.
Gosh, what a meet for the Florida Gators. Holy cow.
You know what the interesting thing is? The Razorbacks had a terrific meet themselves.
Yes. Absolutely.
But they stepped into the jaws of the Gators tonight. Wow.
It's a great way to put it, Bart. Look at this. Double layout, stick straight. Confidence all over her face.
Nice middle pass, just very clean, as you mentioned, Suzanne. But this final pass, oh my word. Open, double tuck. She doesn't even grab. That's crazy.
That's crazy good.
And we'll be back with the score for her and the final standings. Great night of gymnastics from Gainesville. Don't go away.
Look at the fun they have. Too.
What a meet.
Great job on 3 minutes. 1, 2, 3,
You're watching the SEC on ESPN. A lot of happy Florida Gators tonight, and why not? They marked the highest score in the NCAA this season on a spectacular night of gymnastics here in Gainesville. Let's take a look at the scores in the final rotation. Arkansas on the vault was strong. Capped off with Katherine Grable's 9.9 for a stuck landing. 49.1, Razorbacks had a solid team score. But the Gators were just too much. Look at those final two scores. Ashanée Dickerson a 9.95 and Kytra Hunter a 9.95. 49.5 their team score in the final rotation. And the final standings by just over a point. The Florida Gators beat the Arkansas Razorbacks. Suzanne Yacklin is down on the floor with Rhonda Faehn and one of the stars of tonight, Marissa King.
Congratulations, Rhonda. What an incredible competition for a team that was going to take it slow and for a team that didn't work a lot on landings.
Right.
You sure did come out strong, finish strong all the way through. You wanted everyone to know that the Gators were in it to win it.
Well, we really did. I'm really proud of the girls because they came out and competed with such passion and energy. And they're fighters. They're strong competitors. So even though we were taking it slow, the minute they have to turn it on, they turned it on.
Well, congratulations also for the highest score in the country to this point of the year. Where do you go from here?
Well, of course, we have some improvements to go back and not focus on the score, but really focus on, I was really happy with the way they performed and the way they attacked the event. So just to keep getting better.
Well, you have an unbelievable lineup, of course, with Marissa King here. Congratulations for your win tonight. What an incredible performance on balance beam, a career high. How did it feel?
It was a great feeling. I mean, I've been working so hard for the preseason just to improve my beam, especially from last year, and it was just great to come out here and perform how I know I can do it today out here today. Yeah.
And everybody wants to know how those ankles are doing. Are we going to see that double layout on floor by the end of the season?
For sure. I've been training it every day in the gym, and we're going to bring it out hopefully next home meet, and I can't wait to perform it.
Well, congratulations to you and to your entire team. Congratulations, Rhonda.
All right, let's take a look at a few of the key performances for the winning team. Marissa King on the vault, a 9.875 season high.
She kicked off an amazing all-around performance with this vault. Highly difficult and so well done.
On the uneven bars, Alaina Johnson had a 9.925 her season high.
And just showed impeccable form throughout this routine and nailed the landing.
And you mentioned that balance beam routine for Marissa King, a 9.95, a career high.
And she's right, she really improved over last year, really has worked on the consistency, and to anchor this beam line out was fantastic.
And then on the floor, it was a pair of 9.95s. This one from Kytra Hunter, a career high for her.
And you really don't even have to say about anything about this, just watch. It was fantastic.
amplitude, just incredible explosiveness throughout this whole floor team. And what a comeback for Kytra after the mishap on bars.
Well, Kathy, coming into this competition, of course, Arkansas had its first #1 ranking of the year. They had some strong scores early. Florida's been pacing themselves, but it's clear that they have an incredibly deep, talented team, isn't it?
Absolutely. Florida has so much talent, so much depth. Their plan was to start out slow in the season and really pace, but something happened at this competition, and they just turned it up a notch. I mean, they're great competitors, but you can't ignore the talent that they have and the level of difficulty that they can do pretty easily. Now, Arkansas, I'm really impressed with them.
Right.
They showed a good level of difficulty, and most important, they showed a level of consistency and showed how prepared they are to perform well every single time out to earn that #1 ranking.
And you think, of course, that Florida's good now, and yet Mackenzie Caquatto only did one event, and she's an all-around superstar. So there's more yet to come for them as well.
Absolutely. You get her back in the lineup, and as Rhonda said, there are things that they still want to work on and can improve. Wow, they improve. They're one of the best in the country, if not the best.
And once again, our final score, Florida 197.775, Arkansas 196.7.